Can't you see the similarities between us? Take a minute and see yourself in the mirror. You look like me, those eyes, lips, you can't deny. Have you thought about why we look the same? Why we feel the same? Don't tell me it's by chance. Oh, you're my brother, you're my sister, we're one big family.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us in today's session of our World Tour. We sincerely apologize for being a long time since we made the tour together. So it's still with the same mission of we going all around the world virtually for now, for we to find out what the causes of diversity among the human race are, and for we to hopefully come back with possible practicable solutions to offer to the world and to make each and every one of us understand that it is very possible for we all to work together as humans, irrespective of any human factor that might want to diversify us. Today with me is one of the great men that I've been opportunity to meet in my journey of life. Today, we will be touring together a country in Central America, in the south of Mexico. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me as we explore Guatemala. So today with me is a friend of mine, like I said, one of those great men that I have an opportunity to meet in my journey of life. He has been a very wonderful man and a very outstanding fellow. I present to you with a great honor, Daniel Juarez. So you're welcome,
you.
brother. Can you please say hello to people?
Well, hello. As you said, my name is Daniel Juarez. I am from Guatemala, and it's a pleasure being here. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. So just for we to, before we go straight to the point, can you tell us a little bit about Guatemala?
Yes. Well, as you know, I love Guatemala. It's a great country. Uh, what I love is that it have different places in a small country. So if you want a cold temperature, or you want beach, or you want to climb mountains, or you want to surf, there's a lot of things that you could do. But what I love is that the nature is a big part of our country. So we have one of the biggest places where we have trees. It's called Petén. That is a place in Guatemala where we have thousands and thousands of trees, which really helps our environment.
So Guatemala is in Central America, from what I read, and in the south of Mexico. Can you expatiate that more for us?
Yeah, so Guatemala is exactly in the center of America. So it's we are in the center. So up it's Mexico. In our left, is in our east is Belize. Then down is El Salvador and Honduras. Those two countries are what we have. Also, we have connection with the two oceans. So we have the two ones. Yeah.
So just for a few minutes, can you tell us a little bit about Guatemala in terms of human relation? I mean, if I, can you encourage me to visit Guatemala? Will people welcome me? Will I be welcomed very well? How will people relate with me? How is it like there in terms of human relation?
Well, that's another thing that I love about Guatemala. We are very welcome to people. We love our visitors. We love tourists. We love presenting our country and showing all the things that we have. So, uh, first, well, first let me tell you, in Guatemala there are at least 18 million 18 million people. The population is about 18 million, so it's a lot of people. But the country is, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of people, but we have a lot of places too. What we have here is that in Guatemala, we can most of the people are concentrated in the capital, which is a small part of Guatemala, and then we have the rural, which is the other parts of the country. And in the rural, there's a lot of nature. There's a lot of different cultures, different languages. That's another thing. We have more than 20 languages I mean, Spanish is our main language, it's our first language. But in our country, we have more than 20 different cultures that speak different languages. So that's really exciting too. Another thing is that Guatemala, it's great for making connections and making businesses. I mean, Guatemala is great for doing businesses and doing connections because it has different cultures, different people that could really enrich that part of doing businesses with. Another thing that we have a lot of attractions. We have volcanoes, we have lakes, we have beaches, we have different places where you can do different activities like skydiving. You can climb mountains, climb volcanoes, do photo shootings of stars, photo shootings of animals. And we also have a lot of fauna and a lot of animals, different types of animals. So it's really beneficial to our country, to our visitors. Yeah.
So, out of the 18 million population, like you said, with diverse cultures and languages, are there any conflict in terms of cultures and languages?
Well, uh, yes, but it's not that strong or that marked because we have that struggle where and we have that issue. But thankfully, there were people like Rigoberta Menchú. She was a woman who fight for the rights of the native Guatemalan to the Mayans. She fight for their rights, and thankfully we kind of uh, we were now kind of in the same page. So yeah, there are people that are extremists and that doesn't like, and there's still racism, but it is not as it is isn't. I mean, is not that bad because we are trying. Guatemala people in Guatemala are very respectful and are trying to do their best to be good to each other, so which is why there's not as much racism.
So I just want people to understand more about how Guatemala is in terms of human relation and adventures. So now let's go deep down into the topic of discussion, which is the actual causes of diversity among the human race. But before we go deep down into it, let me ask you this. Do you believe that it is very possible for each and every human, irrespective of color, irrespective of language, irrespective of background, irrespective of religion, do you believe it is very possible that we all work together?
Yes, of course. I mean, that's something that I mean, we need to look, we need to have that as a goal because we need to start thinking as a part of the globe, as a part of the world, not just as a part of Guatemala, as a part of America, as a part of Europe. We need to think that our what we do have consequences to everyone. So, and if we start thinking like that, I think that yeah, that what you say
Did
is
we get
possible.
to a great place? Thank you for that. So now, from your years of experience in Guatemala and your exposure, your level of exposure, what do you think are the causes of diversity, among the human race? Why are some people finding it so difficult to work with other people of different places?
Well, as you say, here in Guatemala, there low racism. So for me, what I think is that are people fear change. People fear what they don't know. So, for example, if cultures are different or they have different language, different way of doing things, different beliefs, different religions, that makes a barrier between cultures. But what I think is that when someone starts understanding the way of thinking of the other culture, the way of thinking of the other people, that barrier is broken. Yeah, and it could be easier to connect to each other and to have a friendship, to have a fellowship. So yeah, for me, what we need to think is understand the different points of view, the different cultures, the different religions, and if we don't accept or if we don't if we don't like that type of the way they do things, at least we need to accept that is okay, is right, is how they do things. So I think that is possible. Yeah.
So in summary of that, you're saying people one of the causes is that people fear things that they don't know. You know, they are saying cultures and the way other people are doing things, which is very different from theirs. So
Yes.
fearing this make them finding it somehow difficult to work with other people.
Yeah, exactly. That is what I say. Yeah.
You know, all around the world now, not only in America, not only in Guatemala, not only in my country, Nigeria, we understand that we can have some intra friendly conflict within our respective countries. But wherever we are, however we find ourselves in a place, we meet people of different places, people of different color, people of different religion, people of different languages. And we want to neglect all these factors and work together as humans. But there are still some people, this is a global issue. This is a global issue. Diversity among human race is a global issue. So tell us more about what you think are the causes of this diversity, aside from the fear of unknown culture.
Oh, that's a great question. So the causes of that diversity maybe in the way people think or in the way they want to be right, they want to be overpowered, or they want to be special. So that's something that we need to be careful with, because everyone is special in their own way, but and everyone it's have different capabilities, have the different abilities. But what we need to understand is that those abilities and capabilities are things that, if we work together, can be beneficial. But what I think is that those same capabilities may change the way of how people think and how people analyze, and that is what could create that problem.
Thank you. So in terms of religion, what do you think are the causes of diversity in terms of religion?
Well, that is a big topic. So for me, I'm Christian, and maybe what I think that the problem is with religion is that people uh, think that they are completely right and they are not open-minded. So if they don't if they are not open-minded, they will not accept other points of view, other types of religion. So it, I mean, everyone has their own beliefs, and I'm not trying to say anything about that. But what I think is that we need to accept that other people think different, other people believe of different outcomes of their actions. So while we need to not accept that exact religion, but accept that it is how they do things, and it's what I think. It's important to break that barrier. Yeah.
So you're saying that me being a Muslim and you being a Christian doesn't stop us from working together. We only need to
Exactly.
understand that our way of thinking, our way of seeing things, our spiritual belief will definitely be different. We just need to know it
Yes.
and understand it and show one another respect for this.
Yes.
Thank you.
So yeah,
Go ahead, please.
for me, I for me that is not a problem. Having different beliefs, having uh, different different beliefs, different way of thinking is very beneficial, because what I mean, I probably don't know different things that other people could help me learn, or I don't of my religion is short about something that other could help me fulfill. So yeah, that's great, I think.
Thank you. Another point of view in this topic is this is from other presentations that we've done. So this is one of the key causes of diversity that we've tried to summarize. That language is a means of communication. So in terms of language, how do you think people can work together? I might not understand what you're saying. You might not understand what I'm saying. How do you think people of different languages can work together?
Well, there are different things that we could do. For me, one time I one time that is a story that happened to me. I did not know, I don't know French, so I needed to communicate with a guy because I asked for an Uber, and he only speaks French. So what my one of my friends and I did is that we use technology to communicate. I mean, that is a very useful, and now there are hundreds of applications, hundreds of technologies that we could use. But I mean, I know that it is a little difficult to communicate in that way because the interactions get a little shorter. The other aspects gets more complicated. But if we want to communicate and it's something that we need to say, and and technology is a great way to help us achieve that, to help us achieve sharing that message. So that is one of the major things that we could use now to communicate. The other one is that people need to start, uh, I mean, people don't need to fear about their accent, because for me, at the beginning, when I started to learn English, I didn't want to talk in English because I thought that my accent was strange or my accent was bad. But if we start thinking more of the message rather than the way we say the message, people will begin to understand it. Or if they are wrong, maybe he or she could help me with my Asian, but the message will be shared. So that is both ways. So the people who wants to share the message doesn't need to fear about how he do things, and the other one needs to accept that we have different capabilities, and understand the message. I mean, that is the outcome.
Well, thank you. So, in terms of the technology as a means of communication, so if I get you right, you're saying making use of technologies like translatory applications, right? What if those that are less privileged with technologies of such, people that don't make use of portable phones that might have translators, or people that don't even know how to use translators, and they need to communicate and work with people of different languages? How do you think they can make this happen?
Okay, so one of my hobbies is photograph. So photograph, picture, illustrations, and I love that. For me, we can express a lot with our facial expressions. We can express a lot by drawing, by making making things with our hands. So that is a way of communication. Maybe the message will not be as clear as using voice, but probably the message would be expressed. I mean, that is very difficult because if someone doesn't understand it, it could malinterpret it or could
Right.
think bad things. So, but but I think that having the intention of sharing that and having that connection with another culture, with another language, that will create different ways of communicating. Like it could be drawing, it could be smiling or doing expressions, which that could be beneficial too.
Another key point as causes of diversity among people of different human factors that we've gathered is this. This is a very factual point. So we do summarize it to what we call generational inheritance. So, people, maybe parents, passing down these mentalities down to their children, to their grandchildren. How do you think we can curb this generational inheritance?
What I think is that people need to start thinking by their own. The way to do that is by critical thinking. If someone started thinking about why, if a person start asking why, or if a person starts uh, thinking about why did his parents do that, why did he say that, a person could create their own conclusion. So I know that the a lot of topics like gender, racism, language, or other barriers could be expressed with could be shared by our own parents. But I think it's important that we need to create our own conclusions and our own assumptions. Well, I mean, we need to understand that those are only assumptions, but we need to find the truth. Yeah.
How do you think we can make people change the way they see things and the way they relate with other people?
So what I think is that perception, maybe we sometimes get it from social media or from the media itself, because they are trying so hard to publish the next great story, the next great publication. So they say that, well, everyone is like this, or everyone thinks that way. But what I think is that as we need to start asking questions. I mean, for me, I understand that asking questions about a culture is not bad. It's almost like engaging. Is you're trying to understand their point of view, their way of thinking. They need to think that just because they are from different parts of the world, from different culture, they are different. But I mean different in a bad way. They they are they are they have different capabilities, but what we need to understand is that we are from the same war. We
Exactly.
are from the same country. We are from the same, yeah, from the same world. We are global citizens. So when we started understanding that, we I mean, it's just like I live in this part and you live in the other, but
It's
we
the
are from the
same
same,
world.
yeah, we're in the same place. So once we start understanding that, I think that will eliminate that that mindset, that way of thinking.
So you've given us a couple of suggestions. You've given us a couple of practicable solutions to eradicate diversities. In addition to the fear of culture, um, learning to appreciate our uniqueness and specialities. You've as well given us for we to understand that our way of thinking, our way of seeing things will be different. For we to show hands for friendship, and for we to also be willing to change our way of thinking for we to think on our own and not depending on what our parents has made us understood or what we see, listen, or watch on the social media. In addition to all these solutions, do you have any others practicable solution you want to offer to us?
Well, that is pretty much it. But what what I think is that what I need to share is that we have our own identity, we have our own culture, we have our own way of thinking, but we need to start thinking outside the box. And as I say, we need to make an effort to understand other people, other cultures, other actions. So overall, we need to have we need to be open-minded. So I think that's critical for being better, for having more knowledge, having more friendships, and being even happier. So that would be my advice.
Thank you so much, Daniel. It's been a good time spent together with you. But before we release you, can you please advise people of Guatemala and other people that speak Spanish that it is very possible for we all to work together as humans?
Yeah. So I'm gonna say it in English first, and then I was gonna say in Spanish.
Oh, great. Okay.
so so what I think that we need to do as people as Latinx is that we need to start corrupting. We need to break our assumptions. We need to break our previous knowledge or our knowledge that it was shared by our parents, even because we need to create our own. If we start to asking our own questions, our own, if we start if we start doing our own conclusions, we'll start to understand that the world is so much better if we are making connections with other people, other cultures. And what I think is that we need to break that assumptions. So I'm going to say it in Spanish. So, bueno, entonces, para todos los latinos, latinas, yo pienso que lo que tenemos que hacer es romper esos conocimientos que adquirimos de nuestros padres. Lo que tenemos que hacer es crear nuestros propios conocimientos. Tenemos que preguntarnos por qué es que la gente hace eso, por qué es que la gente habla de esa forma. Y al crear nuestras propias conclusiones, nosotros vamos a tener mayor conocimiento de cómo el mundo funciona, cómo el mundo trabaja, y vamos a tener una mejor mentalidad para poder trabajar con otras personas, que al final ese sería el objetivo. So yeah, that's
Gracias,
it.
gracias.
De nada.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel, for honoring our invitation. Thank you for being a good ambassador of humanity. We do really appreciate your efforts and your contributions and all your humanitarian efforts in the community. We do appreciate it. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And have a good rest of your day.
Thank you for having me. It was great. I have a blast. Thank you.
It doesn't matter if you live far away from me. You feel, I feel. You bleed, I bleed. You cry, and I cry.